channel. And today we'll be talking about a very important topic that's about helping us to manage our own selves and manage our lives and understanding those around us. What am I speaking about? I'm speaking about emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence speaks to the ability of someone to easily identify their own emotion and understand and empathize with another individual and be able to ensure that their response is beneficial to both parties, including themselves and the person you may be responding to. So it really speaks about self-awareness. And I will list the other terms as we get along. Self-awareness. So if you understand the things that trigger you, especially in a relationship, whether it be friendship or intimate relationship, you'll be able to know when you see those things rearing their heads, that you'll be able to walk away from the conversation because you know it might spew into a negative response. There is this thing that they always say that if those who anger you govern you. And the Bible also speaking about a man who is unable to control his anger is like a city that is roaming and without any protection. Yeah? And it also speaks about avoiding friends that are easily angered. So, once you're able to protect yourself by understanding the triggers of your emotion that are negative, you'll be able to know what to avoid and how to step away when you see them. So, recently I was in a meeting and surprisingly, someone decided to be rude in the meeting. The individual decided to wait a little bit. Then they responded in a very calm tone. They weren't rude when they responded. They actually managed their emotion before responding. And that is a kind of the level of self-awareness that we speak about. Understanding your triggers and knowing how to handle it. If the person had matched, like the Bible says, soft answer turneth away wrath, and grievous words stir up anger. If the person had matched the individual in the like tone and manner, it might have gone in a different direction. And it speaks about avoiding conflicts and how to resolve conflicts. Alright, so that's just a snip of self-awareness. And then we speak about empathy. A lot of persons in this day and age laugh and mock at persons' faults and failures and inabilities and sometimes disabilities. At all times, man's shoe. At all times, put yourself in another man's shoe. Before you do something and before you avoid helping someone, always think about the fact, if it had been my mother, my father, my sister, my brother, how would I have felt if somebody had reacted to that situation in like manner? So it's about considering people's emotions and how people might feel in a situation that is detrimental or even embarrassing. Alright, so I can speak worthy to what most Jamaicans might be aware of, though this might cross territories. So recently there was a fire in a parish in Jamaica, and a gentleman was badly burned because he apparently was assisting the gas attendant and other personnel there to prevent the overflow of the gas, allegedly. However, when somebody had done something that was not supposed to be done at the gas station, some fire was caused and it ruptured into something way big. He was able and he managed to walk away out of the fire. He was burned about third degree burns. But he was walking along the road and seeking help, and there were persons who were there just videoing him. And when I brought the conversation to a barbershop with some of my friends, they're like, hey, then what would we have done if we were there? Like, what would you do? Because you don't want to harm the man any further. Yet still, they found the opportunity to video the scene, persons who were there, not the persons from the barbershop, persons who were there. So just like how you can take up your phone and video the scene of the person walking, it's also in like manner that you could have found some unique ways, whether taking off your clothes, stopping a vehicle, like a friend of mine did stop a vehicle and got him some assistance and brought him to the hospital. Now, after the man has died, the family has to grapple with the video that was circulating across the island and that it's extended in the diaspora. And it is very hurtful, and that can cause some kind of mental trauma to the family. And nobody thought about the impact or the aftermath of videoing the gentleman in this state of nakedness and burned, and how it would impact the family. If you had even recorded it and shared it with a small group of people and asked them just to keep within a circle, I could have understood that probably. But you have to understand the rationale behind whatever you do might have an impact on other people, and you must be cognizant of that and how your actions impact other individuals. So right now, just visualizing that episode in the wife's head and the daughter's head and the son's head, they did not want to see their relative last few days, the day before his birthday at that, in a state like that. So we have to be careful that what we do, and we have to empathize with people's emotions. So sometimes we want to get up and grab our phones and video stuff, yeah, but we have to be very responsible and exercise some kind of empathy. I speak about empathy, and I see it often in the workplace. And a lot of women go through, let's say, monthly cycles, and for about 3 or 4 days, some women might experience terrible cramps, backaches, and a lot of debilitating factors associated with menses. And oftentimes people are so irrational and unable to comprehend and appreciate the fact that, yeah, women might go through this over a period of time or over some months, but yet still they never get used to it, because the threshold of pain that there is might increase, might decrease, and it might have many factors associated over a period of time. So we have to sometimes put ourselves into people's shoe and be willing to recognize that, yes, it might not affect you, but what if I were the person? What if it had been a family member of mine? What if? So empathize with people. It is often said, and this will get to my next point of management of persons and leadership. Emotional intelligent leaders tend to be the best kind of leader. They tend to be charismatic. They tend to empathize with people. They tend to be self-aware. So you see, we're connecting now. They tend to be self-aware. So they treat people with a greater degree of integrity, respect, and empathy. And they tend to be able to motivate people often better. So if you want to be an awesome leader, that is something that you might want to look into. How do I ensure that I am adding value to people's life and making sure that they feel valued and wanted in a space that they are actually working for me and working with me? You understand me? So be more cognizant of these factors. So I gave you 3 points. There are many more factors to emotional intelligence. You have self-awareness, you have empathy, and you have, of course, management, which speaks to leadership. Great leaders. Some of the greatest leaders tend to be more emotional intelligent. Even so, persons who are sales rep, they're often, I was reading a research article that spoke to that, and they had decided not to use the traditional means of employing people, but using a test that was able to measure emotional intelligence. And they recognized that persons who were more emotionally intelligent were able to get more sales because they were able to connect with individual on a different level. How do you become greater at emotional intelligence? Simple. Have that level of introspection. What am I easily triggered by? How am I easily triggered? How do I manage my emotions? How I be careful how I respond to people, even the worst and the most panicking and terror situations. I have to keep these words to myself too, because I need to learn from this same situation. And also never forget the self-management as leaders, that we must put forward the greater foot to learning how to manage in our emotion and being better to lead those that we are meant to lead the best possible emotions. So guys, have a wonderful weekend. It might be raining in some parts of Jamaica and some other parts might not be getting it. But God bless you. And you can do some further reading if you like me to add some more value to emotional intelligence and how it can help us. just hit it in the comments and be able to share it with somebody. Be sure to share it with somebody. Be sure to like it and be sure to improve your self-awareness, empathy, and self-management. Peace out. God bless you.